You Coach, maybe we can just start us off with an opening statement and go to questions from there.
Okay. We're ready. I mean, I'm ready. I think our team is in a good spot. Had a good week of practice. We've done a lot this week, probably more than most people would want to do. But I think for us, it's been very beneficial. Going to Broken Bow and practicing there. We had a really good, tough practice there. And then we've had 2 good days here. This being a kind of a weird day, just it's short. So, but our intent and everything was very good. So excited about turning it over to these kids now and letting them do what they do and just watching them perform. So excited about the opportunity. 4 great teams here. I told our team when the whole deal was announced that they're all wearing the same hat that you guys got on Saturday as well. They're all champions. So they all know how to win, and they all are feeling pretty good about themselves right now. So just like you, just go be great. Go do what you do.
Kenny announced earlier this morning that you guys are going to do some overflow for fans. Says to me that you're expecting a pretty big crowd. What do you expect the scene to be like? And your team's obviously played in situations like that before.
Yeah, I don't think the crowd will do anything but help us, to be honest. Like I feel like we've played in some of the best crowds across the country all year long. Probably the game against OU, the last one probably being the largest crowd of anywhere in the whole year up to this point. Alabama can get in that 5,000 range at times. So, but really cool and played well. And I think what excites me, well, there's a couple of things that really excite me. One thing, I haven't had to do anything with this regional, which is really cool. I've got a great administrator that we work so good together with, and so he shields me from the things I need to be shielded from and knows kind of, we know what each other's expectations are, so it's really cool to have. And when he told me that he was going to do that, I just was like, wow, that's cool. Like that's really cool, and I hope we take advantage, of that. I hope our OSU community knows that you don't have to be like inside right there to actually be a part of this. And I think you'll see that our girls will be blown away, and we will make sure we say thank you. So it's pretty neat, and I'm just thankful that we're doing it. It's keeps shedding light on everything that we already know. We just need to keep improving things, and it's just kind of neat. I pulled up here today and to see the TV crews and everybody doing work around here is like, wow, feels like the first game, you know what I mean? Except there's a lot more people around, so it's cool.
With how much of a boost, how much confidence can last week's Big 12 championship give you guys as you head into this regional?
I would think it would have to have some. I mean, I don't know that once the first pitch is thrown that'll even be something on their minds. But I think what it probably did is gave them a shot of energy for the week of practice and everything. It was just like that you need, you know what I mean? I got asked this morning at my coach's show I do on Thursdays, like, is it cool to feel the buzz around here? And my honest answer was, I'm trying to stay in my shell. All the praise kind of, it makes me a little bit embarrassed. So, and I don't know why that is. I just kind of like go away. My wife's mad at me because I'm not talking, and I just want to mow the yard and everybody leave me alone. I just kind of want some quiet time, and it's kind of think that's my escape. So I think our girls have enjoyed that. I've cautioned them on social media and all those things that we talk about a lot. Just stay involved with your kids, your teammates, your families. That's it. You're going to have plenty of time to go back and scroll through all of that. And what's important will still be there, and what's not won't be. So just enjoy this. And I think, again, it was another step in the evolution of this program. Not the evolution, but maybe the reincarnation of this program, because it's not like we didn't have one. We were pretty dang good.
What's it, over the past few days scouting these teams, you mentioned they're all champions. What else has stood out about the group?
I mean, I've watched a little bit on every one of them, but I'm not a overdoer of film. For me, what I do running the defense, I want to know who bunts, who runs, what counts they may do stuff in. We have a program called Synergy that kind of is a cheat code to a lot of that kind of stuff. And, we used to do it in charts and having all these squares and putting pencil marks. Now you just punch in first and third plays with no outs, and it tells you who they ran them with, what they did, were they successful or not. It's kind of the new era, new game that we have called analytics, and so. But again, I'm not gonna overdo that. I know John watches that kind of stuff, right? But he's not going to use that all on his stuff. He's gonna say, okay, this is what it looks like, but against Kelly Maxwell, what is it gonna look like? Against Morgan Day, what does it look like? So you just familiarize yourself with people and numbers and that kind of stuff, and then put it in do a play. But my focus this whole week has been us. To be honest, I mean, 90% us, 10% them, knowing that if we play Oklahoma State softball, we'll be in a good spot. We may be a dogfight, but we'll be in a good spot.
We talked to Samantha Shaw earlier this week, and she mentioned how you guys there's a handful of players on this team that have played in 2 World Series, 2 Supers, and this will be their 3rd regional. How important is having girls like that they've been through this to try to help keep the other players level-headed?
And that's cool. I mean, I was thinking back one day this week on just me personally, like how many postseason games have I coached in? And I was thinking about Patty, is actually who I was thinking about. I was like, yeah, she's probably coached like 7-8 years worth of postseason games. Like that's a huge advantage, right? And I was starting to think back, going, well, I mean, we're starting to do the same thing, and like I just don't have those years yet, right? And that goes for our players too. When you have players that have been in these moments, the preparation, like I can tell when I'm talking to our team if they're listening or not. There's a certain nod that's like, yeah, we want to go. There's a certain nod like, we hear you. And so when I just told them now, hey, look, you're done. You go watch film. Then you're gonna do your cold tub, and then you've got a dinner at 5, and then you've got all the way off till tomorrow at 7:30 when we're gonna play. So there's no pool time. Like stay out of the pool. I know you guys are going to have a big dog party. It's one of the girls' dogs' birthday, so they're gonna have a big party, I guess. It's the new thing, I guess. So I didn't get the invite, so I'm not going. I'm gonna go home and mow. But I just, the experience is key. And I can remember the first time I went to postseason, you look down that roster and we're like, we have none, including me. You know what I mean? And then the next year we have a bunch. And then the following year we have a bunch. And then we hit a super in a World Series, and you start adding up all these extra games that you're playing. It's like bowls for football, right? Our fans go, why are we going to this bowl? And the coaches are going, because it's 15 to 20 more practices that these young guys get, right? And when you start looking at these successful programs, that's why going to a bowl is so important every year. And it's no different for us. So we do have a lot of kids with a lot of experience that the moment will not be too big, and that should perform very well.
Kenny, while the gals were hitting today, I heard you say to Kyla that you thought she looked as good hitting today as you'd seen her in a while.
Yeah.
She's obviously had some struggles, but
Yeah.
what are you seeing out of her? And I know it's just BP, but what did you see out of her today?
Well, I think we go back to the question I got early about what does that final game do? Well, Kylie gets the big walk, you know what I mean? And in the scorebook, it's a run batted in. And she gets the winning run. And, she had a chance, to make that play up the middle. She makes a crazy play to catch it, and then just didn't get her shoulders turned right to make the right throw. And she could have went in the tank. But if I go back in that game, she had a double. I pinch hit for her. No negative feedback. She comes back up, gets the game-winning run scored or RBI, makes an error when everyone's going, ah, crap, this is when OU does their deal. And the only people in that stadium that thought that we were going to win were the 30 of us. Truth. I think a lot of our fans were worried. And I get it. I'm not mad. I mean, I get they were worried because of that. You're like, this is when they tack on. And I was like, we're fine. And we were fine because Kylie was fine. And this game is a cruel game. The next ball is coming at you. It's coming at you. The ball will find you. And it did. And she makes a great play or just a routine play. And she kind of made my heart stop when she threw it easy. But I just look at her and go, that's probably got to help her. And her swing today looked like Kylie from last year, and I'll be very honest, I haven't seen it much. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that she heard it, because that confidence thing is a big thing for any athlete. And when you're working hard and things aren't happening, you want it to happen for them. So I'd really like for her to be able to look at that 220 at the bottom of our order and go, just throw it. Just make sure you don't just put her on, and you do that to her, and she's going good. She can change a game fast.
Did the Broken Boat trip accomplish what you wanted to accomplish? Can you tell yet if it happened?
Yes. Yeah. It was really good. It was really good. It's funny when you start asking a bunch of girls, hey, do you want to do this? You want to do this? Or like, just like, so we were going to go on this houseboat, okay? And one of our families has this houseboat, and it's a big old boat and really cool. And they were like, well, we're kind of tired and blah, blah, blah. And I sat back in our cabin, and I was like, screw this, we're going. Like, we're going. Because I know what's going to happen. We're going to get there, and they're going to be like, do we have to leave? And sure enough, we get out there. They were like shocked when they saw this boat. And then we're out in the middle of Broken Bow Lake. Nobody's out there on a Monday. They're jumping off the top deck, diving and sliding off the slide on the back. Some of them are floating just out there on the big the lily pad. They're paddleboarding, just laughing, like no talk about softball. And then Coach John jumped in. And then Jeff jumped in, and I was like, peer pressure. So I dove in, and we just had a blast. You know what I mean? We just did we just organically did what we wanted to, and it forces them to spend time. I talked to them. I said, "What'd you guys do?" They said, "Well, we can't tell you everything, but." They said that they played some fun games, a little hide and seek. They're in a humongous house. It sleeps like 35. Probably about 10 bathrooms. So it's a big house. Overlooks the lake, has a pool, hot tub, the whole deal. So they were playing high, and you're up in these mountains. Like, you're in the mountains. You've never been. You ought to go. You're in the mountains and trees, big trees, and they were playing hide and seek at night, scaring each other, like doing what kids do and having fun and enjoying each other. Because when you're around each other for as much as we are around, people start to get on your nerves, and it's not because you don't like them. You just get tired of listening to the same people talk, right? And so it just put us in a good spot. Good times I got to ride in a car with 3 other kids and with Coach Pestrak, and just kind of we talked, and I had kind of a group that I really trust, and it's cool. They give you info that you need to know, and they don't tell you what you don't need to know, and it's cool.
Anything else for Coach?
You've become somewhat familiar with North Texas, having played them in the last few years. Just from afar, how have you seen their program develop to the point where they've now reached the regional tournament round for the first time ever?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rodney's. I've known him for a while now, and he can really coach. And North Texas is going to have to work hard to keep him there, really hard. And I know they worked hard last year on Texas Tech, and I know that job is open again. And it's they're really improved, and he's won everywhere he's been. And his kids seem to take on his personality, and just like they do mine on our team, and it's really cool to watch. I'm happy for him. I wish he wasn't here at this regional, but he is. So we'll just got to play him. So they're gonna pitch well. They're not usually the most offensive club. They rely on their pitching and defense, but they can score when they need to. So I'm happy for Rodney and his staff and what he's done. And there's a lot of Oklahoma kids there that I know that we've dabbled in recruiting, and some of them, there a couple of them we've talked to, a couple of their transfers we talked with, periodically or for a bit. Michaela Smith was committed here, and I'm happy for her that she's doing well there. It was probably a good move for all of us, right? A place where she could go and be an everyday kid. It's really cool. So I'm just happy for those kids. I'm happy for Oklahoma. I say this a lot. This is probably 5 or 6 in the states of talent. This state here doesn't always have to be D1, Power 5 talent. Like, there's some good softball that's played here. It's been played here for a long time, and there's some good coaches, and it's really cool to see. And excited for Rodney and his team, except when we have to play them.
You listening to an audiobook tonight?
Man, I don't know. You haven't sent me one, so if you send me one, I'll read it or listen to it. I've got some new stuff, though, that I've got for the kids, so I'm excited about that. So I haven't even talked about that the whole week. I thought about laying out on our field and listening to a mental imagery deal, but I didn't want Fordham to get to peek in on that. So we'll just save it for our kids for our game. So it'll be good.
Coach Boyd can give you any pointers when he was popped in earlier? You're gonna throw BP.
Yeah, he's my buddy. He's just become one of my really good friends, and I really care for Mike and his family, and proud of him for what he's done. And it's really cool. He's here a lot. I mean, a lot. And he's probably as noticeable here as anybody, just being here on multiple days. And I don't know how he does what he does. He's like 3 people, and it's like he has more time than anybody in a day. But he's just very, 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 very deliberate about just a sense of calm. You know what I mean? So he was out on a walk. Said, "Hey, I felt like you guys were probably going to be practicing, so I thought I'd just stop in." And it's cool to have him here, and it's cool to have that kind of camaraderie, with all of our coaches here. It's really a unique situation here.
Very good.
All right.
Thanks.
You guys got it. Thanks for
You guys have a collection of players that, we talked to Samantha Shaw earlier this week, and there's a collection of players that are still on the team when she was here that have played in 2 World Series and 2 Supers, and this will be the 3rd regional. How important is having experience like that for some of these younger players and going into this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly valuable. I mean, to have that experience combined with some young talent and some fresh energy and transfers and everything that brings, you put 2 things together and it creates a great recipe. So it's really valuable moving forward to kind of have that level-headedness and the been here, done that mentality that we know how to go and perform in those situations. So, I mean, we've all been to a World Series here. Kelly, it was your first year, it was freshman year, so we've been so it's really exciting because we know what it's like, and we can kind of help guide those kids that haven't been in those situations. So,
Haley and Chelsea, could you guys reflect a little bit on Kelly's evolution as a pitcher, becoming your ace, moving into that role, just how you've seen her grow over the last couple of years?
I've only been here for 3 years, so I transferred in that would be my junior year, so I believe that was Kelly's actual first season playing, right? Because I missed her whole redshirt year. So to be honest, I mean, just from my first year being here during that COVID season to now, her transformation, she's kind of one of the most level-headed pitchers that I've ever played behind, especially now that I get to play in the infield. It's definitely a different role than from being in the outfield or even being a DH from the dugout. Just to be able to see her kind of stay calm, cool, and collected during any kind of situation, it makes me feel more comfortable on the field, and just to kind of see that she's never really changed from the first year that I've got here. Like, she puts her head down, she goes to work, she does everything that she needs to, and she's going to perform for us. And even if, even on the days that she doesn't have her best stuff, like, she's always going to be, she's always going to be Kelly. And I think that that's really important. So while she's gotten better and she's going to continue to get better, she's still the same Kelly, that I, met 3 years ago.
So I was here when she redshirted her terrible year. And so I think from my perspective, and I think that you would agree, I think taking that red shirt helped her a lot. It was freshman year, right? So you sat out the first World Series. Yeah, so she was able to go through and have these experiences like you talked about without having the pressure of performing in them, and just learning from the pitchers that we had ahead of her. And so I think each year you've seen her step up a little bit more, and she's kind of kept that cool, calm, collected personality. But I love playing behind her. I know she's going to go throw strikes. Sometimes I get surprised if I get a ball and, not ready for it because she's a strike thrower. So she's a lot of fun to play defense behind. And to see her step up and fill that ace role, it's been really cool to be a part of and see her grow in her career here, in her short kind of career here because she has so many years left.
Kelly, how important is it for you that Morgan's kind of started to emerge here as of late, especially with Miranda injured? How important is it even in the championship game where you guys are able to give teams a little bit different looks?
It's huge just because I know that, we have multiple people that can get the job done. Because it was, kind of a bit of a shock whenever Miranda went down. So we're just glad that she was able to step up and take some of those innings. And I'm very proud of her and everything that she's done from this point.
How have you seen her throughout the year, her mentality? Because I imagine she's a big deal at Illinois State. I imagine her coming in, being the third player for a
I
while.
know at first I think she was a little down on herself, maybe just because the playing time wasn't, what she expected to come in. But just seeing her bounce back and to respond the way she did, just to keep working and stuff like that. So I think it's helping, and I have all confidence in her that it's just going to keep happening like that.
They announced earlier today that you guys are going to have an overflow area for fans. So I assume they're thinking you guys are packing the stadium, got to have extra room. What does that idea do for you guys as players, knowing what kind of scene you might have here for the next 3 days?
Yeah, that's that home field advantage that we work hard for to get in the postseason. So we're expecting a lot of our fans this weekend, and then hopefully we come out on top and we can do it again next weekend. So earning one of those top 8 spots is really big, and our crowds have showed out all year. So, but it's like a new level in postseason. So, we expect this place to be packed, and we're excited to see all the fans out and give them a show and just bring the energy all weekend.
How much confidence, how much momentum does winning that Big 12 tournament give you guys as you head into this regional?
I think it gives, us all the confidence in the world. I think that, regardless of who we're playing, we're just playing our game. And, no matter who's in that dugout across from us, whether they're ranked number 1 or they're not ranked, I think it's really important for us to stay ourselves. And while that tournament win was huge and huge for this program, and it was exciting, we have to get right back to work like we have been this week, and we have to focus on our next opponent, which is Fordham. So as long as, we're doing our job and, I'm doing my job, Chelsea's doing hers, everybody on the team is doing what they need to do, if we keep playing our game, we're unstoppable. And I think, and I mean that, and I think that this program has the potential to do, bigger, better, greater things than we have in the past. And I think that that's, that tournament helps kind of propel us, into this weekend. But like I said, as long as we play our game, I think that we have all the confidence in the world in each other.
Kenny said that you guys had an amazing time at Broken Bow, and it was exactly what he hoped it would be for you guys. What did you all take away from those times there for you all?
It was just a nice break from softball. We bonded, I think, on another level rather than softball. So we still got our work in and we still practice and stuff like that. But we were able just to have fun and do things that like we normally don't do.
I think once you get into postseason and you're out of school and you really just get to play softball for these last few weeks, spending time together and really enjoying each other and learning one another, spending as much time as we can together off the field just helps us succeed on the field moving forward into the final stretch of our season.
Anything else? Is there anything else that you guys wanted to say just while we've got the group here that's important to you?
Go Pokes, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We want dog party pictures.
Well, they'll need all